Okay, good evening. Hey, before we get started, I just noticed something. I don't know if anybody else did. You see that? That's a door back there, but it looks like a cross. Look, and it's right in the. And I had no idea. I was just looking back there, and it looks just like a cross. And it's a doorway going into my shop. I'm doing some renovation over here at my house, and I got a little apartment in here now, and my shop is in the back. So. Shit, much time as I've done, man, in a 5x8 cell, this little apartment I got, man, is plenty of room. So I feel right at home. So anyway, all right. I want to do a video tonight about God's protection. God's protection, man. And I was saved, like I said in the other videos, November 4th, 1994 in San Clemente, California. And I want to share a couple of experiences I've had. I've had all kinds of different ones, man. But as they come to my mind and everything, and I'm in the mood to do it, I got off work early today, so I feel pretty good energy-wise. So, I got a couple of experiences I think you'll find very interesting. I sure did when it happened. First of all, one of my connections there was a guy named Fast Eddie from Boston, and he talked like this: "I'm calling, riding." And he was a trip. And I was saved. The only reason I was even kept hanging around this guy was drugs. He was evil, okay? His dad was the devil. And he told me that, well, I had some other experiences with him, but he told me he called God Skippy, not Skipper, like a ship, captain, skipper, but Skippy. And man, I never heard anybody say anything like that before, man, that blasphemous or anything. I couldn't believe that somebody would even say that. I was raised here in the Midwest and everything, in Kansas City, and I don't know, it's a Bible Belt here, you don't run into a lot of people like I did out in California. That's I think why God saved me out there was to expose me to a lot of the evilness and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the real world, so I could pass that information along to people. Now I'm in a position to kind of try to do more of that, And so everything happens for a reason, that's for sure. I'm 58 years old, going on 59 years old, and well, every time I say I've seen it all, something else happens. So I won't say I've seen it all, but I've been around. So anyway, Fast Eddie is one of these guys. He had a temper, man, and especially if he was drinking, he was an alcoholic and a drug addict. But it was funny. We'd shoot up the speed and say, "Oh man, isn't it nice? We haven't drank in 2 or 3 days." Yeah, of course, because we're hiring a kite on speed, no need to drink, but that's something we used to pride ourselves. Oh man, I haven't drank in several days, yeah. Anyway, he was a bad alcoholic, worse alcoholic than I was. I was more a drug addict than that. But anyway, he a couple times, man, he'd get drunk and want to fight me, and he was tough, man. I seen him fight a couple. Well, I seen him hit this one. Anyway, I don't want to go into all that. Anyway, he's tough. He knew how to box, man. He knew how to box real good. And so anyway, one day, man, I don't know, I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden he comes riding up on his, bicycle. Everybody out there rides mountain bikes, and he'd get high and he'd build these mountain bikes. And that's what he did when he was tweaking all this stuff, Anyway, he had these really expensive mountain bikes and everything. He'd ride all over town delivering his dope and everything. But anyway, he was riding up on me one day, and I had no idea about God's protection or anything like that. You know, you see some of these preachers, you know, they got carrying guns and all that. What a bunch of malarkey, man. You don't need a gun. If you're truly born again, which most people aren't, majority of church people from what I've seen aren't, you know. I think it's rare, actually, people that are really born again, where the Spirit of God comes inside of you, where you actually hear it and feel it at the same time. It sounds like a wind when it happens, and that's what John 8 is all about. But anyway, I'll tell more about that later. But anyway, if you're truly born again, you belong to God, and He protects you. I found out several times. This is the first time I found out. This is like, I don't know, not long after I was saved. A short time, probably just a month or 2 or 3. I don't know. It wasn't that long. I know that much. Anyway, he was riding up on the bicycle. I could tell by the look on his face, man, he was mad. And he was coming up to me like he was going to hurt me. And I was like, oh, man, what the heck? So I started backing up, backpedaling a little bit. Next thing you know, man, wham! Boy, something... I think it was an angel, man. I don't know how he did it, man. It might an angel or whatever. I mean, God can just smack you down anytime he wants to. I think he uses angels. Whatever it was, you can tell some kind of force, man, that was superhuman. He was riding on his bike, and I swear, man, he got slapped so hard, and there was nobody there. He slapped him so hard, man, it just knocked him straight to the ground, man. It was like a great big, huge... I don't care how strong a human being is, couldn't have knocked him down that hard. Okay? It was like getting hit by a truck or something, man. It was just amazing, man. Anyway, knocked him straight to the ground, man. And boy, he got up and started cussing at me. Started cussing at me, got on his bike and took off the other way, man, as fast as he could go. I was like, what in the world just happened? I had no idea. What? And then I realized, man, that was God. That was God that did that. And I was like, just totally amazed, man. Totally amazed. So anyway, that was the first time I'd seen him protect me. Okay? Well, ironically, the second time, it was also a Fast Eddie. And I think what it was, man, Fast Eddie, he belonged to the devil. I belonged to Jesus Christ, and even though we were doing business together and everything like that, I think inwardly, he didn't act like it outwardly, but I think inwardly, man, he hated my guts, man. I think he hated my guts. He wanted to kill me. But I don't think he could do it until he was drunk. So anyway, by this time, this hustle I had, I was making this $5,000 a month. After I got saved, that kind of went away. Well, I mean, I didn't want, anyway, I started straightening up. So I didn't have any money coming in to speak of. So we were staying, there was a Carl's Jr., and then there was a place behind Carl's Jr. in these wooded areas, kind of wooded areas. It's not wooded like a forest. California's not like, California's a desert, basically, but had these bushes and stuff like that, and it was pretty neat. You know, we made a house in there, and I'll do a video about that too, man. It was just the coolest thing, man. But anyway, had a tent set up inside there. You know, one of those igloo tents. You know, one of them round ones set up inside there, and then he had a tent set up on the opposite side of it, and that's where we stayed at. You know. So anyway, this particular night, he was wanting me to, I had some money and he was wanting me to buy dope. And he was drunk. And he had some guy with him, you know, who I'd never met before or whatever. And God had been on me, man, about it, you know, telling me, hey, you know, nope. Boy, certain times, and I think it was for my own protection also, because I think they were trying to set me up somehow. Anyway, we were going up to Vegas on a bus, man, and I had to sit there and watch him go in and out of the bathroom getting high all the way up there, and I couldn't even do it because God was telling me, don't you do it. In my spirit, man, I could just tell, man. And so I was obeying because I'd experienced his chastisement, man, and I was scared. So I just did, anyway. So he goes, hey, man, I'll give you a good deal, man. And I said, man, I can't do it, man. God's telling me not to do it. Oh, man, he got mad. Oh, man, disrespecting me, man, in front of my people and blah, blah, blah. And so he said, yeah, all right, well, I'll be back, man. You better be gone when I get back. You better be out of here, man. And so I was like, oh, all right, whatever, man. So they left, So anyway, it was getting pretty late, man. So I went in there, went in my tent and went to sleep. Well, anyway, man, something woke me up. I know it was God, man, woke me up and said, get out of here now. And so I did, man. I could just tell. I don't hear audible voices, but man, in my spirit, I can tell when he's really wanting me to do something or not do something, And so I got up and I went down this hill. There's a path, that it kind of circles down this hill to Carl's Jr., So I went down there and I got me a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting, and they got these chairs and tables, and it's kind of in the shadows back. So I'm sitting back there having a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden I hear this yelling, and I was like, what in the heck? Who's that, man? So anyway, well, as it got closer and closer and closer, I all of a sudden I recognized it was Fast Eddie's voice. And so then I hear the voice, and then I see him, and he's walking his bike, and his bike's got a headlight on it, and he's walking his bike, and then he's got this ball bat over his head, and I can just tell, and he's drunk, I can just tell he's drunk. And so the Lord allowed me, this is amazing, man, the Lord allowed me to watch him go all the way up that path, up to that campsite, and then I heard him he was cussing and beating that tent. He thought I was inside that tent, and he was just beating that tent down, man. He thought he was killing me, man. And then I guess he realized I wasn't in there, man. And he just got even more madder. And so anyway, eventually here he comes back down the trail, and I'm sitting there the whole time, and he's sitting in the shadows back here. He can't even see me. And it was amazing, man, how God protected me. And in the Bible, it says somewhere in there, he'll something to do with, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you shall fear no evil. And then it says, I will have a place at the table of your enemies or something. I can't remember, but anyway, it's basically saying that he'll protect you from your enemies right in front of you, and they don't even know it, So anyway, it's just an amazing thing, man. The way I looked at it, God allowed me to witness my own murder, or my own demise, he might not have killed me, man, but he definitely would have beat me half to death, especially as drunk as he was, man, and mad as he was. He thought I disrespected him in front of his buddy and everything. And so anyway, I thought that was I thought that was something you guys would really find interesting. And I guess the moral of the story is, if you belong to him, if you're truly born again, I don't mean somebody just going to church or doing whatever. It really doesn't matter. I know it says that, God so loved the world that those who, and whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Well, that word believeth, man, it means trust. And it's a matter of the heart, And God's the only one that can judge the heart. He's the only one that can read a person's heart and read a person's mind and know. And it's not a matter of the mind, because the mind can be influenced by Satan. The only way the heart can be influenced by him is if you allow your thoughts to just run wild to the point where your heart just gets dark, I think. But once you're born again, all that's gone. You belong to him. You're a new creation, and he'll protect you. He'll protect his own. And unless he doesn't want to. He may want a person to be martyred. He may want a person to experience stuff like Paul. He told him that, he told him to go pray for Paul and he'd get his sight back. And he said, man, that's one of them guys that's been killing us, man. God said, you don't worry about that. I'm going to show him what he has to suffer for my name's sake. And boy, did he ever. But he also protected Paul several times. And, until he, whatever, like I said, God does what he wants, and he does things that we have no idea. His thoughts, what does it say? His thoughts are just as the heavens are that much higher than the earth, paraphrasing. His thoughts, his ways are even that same way, higher than our ways. And his thoughts are higher than our ways. So it's God Almighty is just uncomparable. It's just unbelievable, man. There's no way to comprehend everything about God. It almost makes me. It's sad, man. It's almost comical, man, to hear these preachers and everything. Oh man, they've got all the answers, man. Got all the answers. It's Steven Anderson, man. I was caught up in this. I'll do some other videos about that. What attracted me to him was the soul winning and the stance on homosexuality and the stance on and then the post-trib stuff. He's got a lot of good stuff going on, but he's not truly born again. He thinks he is, but he's not, and that would probably make him mad, but I don't care, because I'm just calling him like I see him, If you're truly, and he carries a gun, and all these people carry guns, like he thinks that you really have to have a gun to be protected, bunch of hogwash, man. But anyway, all right, well, that's all I got tonight. So thank you very much. God bless.